Welcome, Mindcrafted viewers. Today we're diving into a topic that touches countless lives, yet often stays hidden: toxic parenting. In this video, we'll uncover 10 hurtful phrases parents sometimes use, explore how these words can leave lasting emotional scars, and share practical steps both parents and children can take toward healing. Parents should offer guidance, support, and love. Yet in 2022, nearly 560,000 cases of child abuse and neglect were reported in the U.S. emotional abuse ranks among the most common contributors to anxiety, depression, and low self-esteem later in life. Globally, 6 in 10 children under 5, about 400 million youngsters, still endure physical punishment or psychological violence from caregivers. These numbers aren't just statistics. They represent millions of childhoods shaped by words that wound. Children often don't realize these patterns are harmful. When a parent says, "Don't take it personally," after a cutting remark, kids learn to swallow their pain. They assume this is normal and remain silent rather than seek help. Recognizing toxic language is the crucial first step toward breaking the cycle.
10 toxic phrases and their impacts. 1. This is your fault.
By blaming a child for adult problems, money worries, relationship conflicts, work stress, parents force them to carry burdens no one their age should bear. Over time, children become hypervigilant, constantly on edge to avoid blame. They learn to apologize for everything, neglect their own needs, and often enter adulthood with deep-rooted guilt and people-pleasing habits that undermine healthy boundaries.
2. Why can't you be more like your brother or sister?
Comparing siblings pits them against one another and tells each child they're never good enough as themselves. Rather than celebrating individual strengths, this phrase erodes confidence and breeds resentment. The favored child feels pressured to perform, while the unfavored child internalizes shame, both at risk of lifelong sibling rivalry and self-doubt about their unique identity.
3. You're the worst student.
Labeling a child's entire academic self with such an absolute judgment creates a self-fulfilling prophecy. Research shows that when kids internalize a fixed label, they disengage from learning, avoid challenges, and develop learned helplessness. Effort feels pointless, and school becomes a source of anxiety or defiance rather than growth, often setting the stage for underachievement and fear of trying new things.
4. I sacrificed everything for you.
Guilt is a powerful weapon. When children hear that their parent gave up dreams, career goals, or personal happiness for them, they feel an unspoken obligation to pay back that sacrifice. They might suppress their own desires, choose life paths to please the parent, or experience chronic guilt whenever they pursue independence. The result? A lifelong pattern of putting others' needs before their own well-being.
5. You're a freak.
To be called a freak by the person meant to love you unconditionally is deeply wounding. This label tells a child they don't belong, planting seeds of shame and isolation. Many grow up trying to mask their true selves to fit in, while others embrace the outsider role and withdraw. In either case, self-acceptance suffers, and trusting relationships becomes a constant struggle.
6. Stop crying, or I'll give you something to cry about.
This threat invalidates genuine feelings of sadness, fear, or frustration. Children learn that expressing emotion invites punishment, so they bury their tears. Later in life, they either bottle everything up, leading to anxiety, depression, or sudden emotional outbursts, or disconnect from their feelings entirely, unable to name or manage them in healthy ways.
7. You're so immature.
Childhood is a time for exploration, mistakes, and growth. Labeling a normal, developmentally appropriate behavior as immature shames children for simply being themselves. They come to believe they must act older than their years to earn approval, which fosters perfectionism, chronic self-criticism, and anxiety about meeting impossible adult standards long before they're ready.
8. I'm the parent, you're the child.
This phrase uses authority to silence questions and concerns. It communicates that a child's thoughts and feelings carry no weight, stunting critical thinking and self-confidence. Over time, kids learn to suppress their voice rather than speak up, eroding their ability to advocate for themselves, form opinions, or trust that their perspective matters.
9. You'll never make it in the real world.
Predicting a child's failure undermines every attempt they make. When children internalize messages like "you can't," they avoid taking risks, dread independence, and doubt their abilities. Ambition gives way to anxiety, and opportunities to learn from mistakes are lost to fear of living down a negative label imposed on them at home.
10. I'm going to send you to boarding school.
Even as an empty threat, this warning weaponizes a child's deepest fear: abandonment. Constantly feeling at risk of being cast out teaches kids their place in the family is conditional. They develop anxious attachment styles, clinginess, people-pleasing, or emotional withdrawal, fearing rejection more than anything else, and struggle to form secure bonds later in life.
Healthy alternatives for parents.
Practice self-awareness. Notice when your words cross the line. A simple apology. "I'm sorry I spoke that way." Models accountability. Use I statements. "I feel frustrated when chores aren't done." Shifts focus from blame to shared problem solving. Separate behavior from identity. Address actions. "That choice wasn't safe," instead of labeling your child. Respect developmental stages. Remember that learning curves and emotional meltdowns are part of growing up. Model unconditional love. Reinforce daily. "I love you no matter what," so your child knows their worth isn't tied to performance.
Guidance for children and teens.
Trust your feelings. Sadness and anger are valid signals, not weaknesses. Reach out for perspective. Talk to a teacher, counselor, or another trusted adult who can support you. Build a safe network. Friends, relatives, or mentors who affirm your worth can counterbalance negative messages. Set respectful boundaries. You might say, "I understand you're upset, but please don't call me names." Seek professional help if you can. Therapy or school counseling can equip you with coping strategies. And remember, none of this is your fault. Words can wound, but awareness brings healing. If this video resonated, hit subscribe, share your experience below, and join our community as we break these cycles together. It was Sophia and Alex. Thanks for watching Mindcrafted.